Hi everyone, welcome to my Thursday night live. Happy Thanksgiving to my friends and followers in the USA. Hope you're all having a wonderful day. And today I'd like to talk to you a bit about who you hang out with and how it affects you. So just thinking about the people that are in your close circle, who you spend most of your time with. They say that we resonate at the frequency of the 5 people we spend most of our time with. So if you think about the 5 people that you spend most of your time with, who are they? Well, probably your immediate family, maybe your best friend or work colleagues. Are they all negative? Are they all positive? Are they a mixture of in between? It only takes one rotten apple, hi Gina, to upset a group. And I was listening to something about this today, and they said that if you put one negative person in a group situation and you get that group to perform tasks of some kind, that the group with the negative person performed 40% worse than the group without the negative person in. So it's really important to think about who you're spending your time with. Even if it's family, if they're super negative and they're dragging your frequency down by being around them, it's time to stand up and tell the truth, do it nicely, but set boundaries and just say, I'm not prepared to be listening to all this negative talk anymore because it drags me down. And to be honest, I think there are a lot of people that are like that don't even realise they're doing it, and you probably would be doing them a favour if you told them the truth. There are others that are not going to like it and they're going to want to argue with you. And remember what I've said to you before about the law of projection and how we see people and the world as we are, not as it is. So if you put, a positive person and a negative person in front of a love story or something like that, you're going to get 2 completely different perspectives if you asked them to write a synopsis of the movie they've just watched. The negative one's going to be looking for all the negative characteristics in the couple, and the positive person's going to see all the positive aspects of that couple. Whenever you go into company, new company in particular, people you don't know, if you just sit back for a while and just listen to people and listen to how they speak about the world around them, about people they know, about people they don't know, about whatever they've read in the newspapers or seen on the news. It's amazing how many people are just simply programmed to hate on other people that they've never met. They don't know anything about them. They read something or seen something in a newspaper or on the social media that pointed the finger, and they jump on that pointing the finger bandwagon. And they've got no idea whether it's true or not, but they still do it. They still follow it. So being in a room with people and listening to, at the moment, there's a lot of political views going on, that you've got the ascension going on, you've got all sorts of things going on in the world, all these different timelines that I've spoken to you about in my other videos. But just listen to people. Listen to how they talk about other people, how they talk about themselves, how they talk about the world. And you'll find out a lot about them, because the saying goes, we see the world as we are, not as it is. What that means is we're projecting into the world what's in us, and that's what we see in other people. So you can be with different people and you're both talking about the same person, but you see them in a completely different perspective. because they're a projection of you, or they're a projection of him or her, whoever else you're talking to. And you'll notice it with everyone at some point in their life has been around people where they've heard both sides of the story, and you hear the story being exaggerated by the more negative person than the positive person. But the stories are very different. You only need to sit back and listen to people who've just had an argument and listen to both sides of the story, and you'll see that they've got completely different perspectives most of the time. So our perspective of the world around us is based on what's inside us. What we project into the world is what we need to see in order for us to grow. So when we're looking at the people and we're seeing something negative, or we believe in something negative about that person, and it's triggering us, it's creating a charge in us, there's something in us that the universe is very kindly showing us in that person. Doesn't necessarily mean that person is like that. It may feel like that, but if you move through, let's say for example greed, let's pick up a word like greed. If you're seeing a person who's greedy and it really annoys you, makes you angry, it means there's greed in you. Whether you're consciously aware of it or not doesn't matter. It's there, or else it wouldn't trigger you in any way. But that person may look greedy to you, but to somebody else, they're really generous because they're projecting their light and their generosity onto that person, and that's what they're seeing. They're not seeing the greedy aspect that you're seeing, because everyone sees what they need to see in the people around them and in the world around them. So if you think about what's going on, particularly on social media at the moment, and places like YouTube as well, with all this celebrity stuff that's going on, and I'm not mentioning any names, but somebody big and famous was arrested not so long ago, and everybody's waiting for all these names to come out of these people that were involved in these nefarious acts and things like that. And people are very quick to jump on the haters bandwagon on Instagram and start hating on all celebrities. Well, we live in a duality. That's 50-50, light and dark. They're not all bad. So be very careful about getting pulled into just thinking that everyone in the movie world or in the music industry is bad, because they're not. I've met people myself in that industry many years ago, and they were good people. There are good people in both of them. So just being very careful. You'll notice on social media that there's a lot of hate campaigns going on about these type of people and that type of people, and the trans people are getting attacked at the moment. I'm on the fence with all of that, but I don't agree with just attacking people for the way they want to dress and calling them really nasty things just because of the way they want to dress or the way they want to be. There's a lot of people pointing the finger here that need to learn the law of projection. They need to learn that if you feel you need to come onto your social media and start bad-mouthing these people because of the way they dress or something like that, and they're angry about it, they're saying these people are evil and these people are dark and these people are this, from a place of anger, then they're projecting that negativity that they're seeing in that other person so that they can heal it in themselves. Because somebody with a pure heart who was enlightened wouldn't do that. They wouldn't be putting things like that on their social media accounts and bad-mouthing them and encouraging other people to come on and hate on them. That's not a way forward that's doing anyone any good. Yes, there needs to be exposure of what's been going on, but we're talking about a very limited amount of people out of 7.8 billion out there. Not whole industries are bad. And I know I'm blessed and lots of my followers are very, very awake and wouldn't get involved in anything like that. But even if you do, I'm not judging you here. I'm just saying to be aware that if you're seeing something and it does make you angry, that it's, to own it, to own that anger, to own that what part of me is being triggered here. What's in my cubes of consciousness that I need to heal here so that I can watch that and it's not bothering me at all. There's too much hating going on out there. There's too much naming and shaming and spreading negativity and anger, and it's like witch hunts. That's what it reminds me of. And there's lots of us that have had previous lives where we've been hanged or burned as witches and stuff like that when we were healers. That went on for 400 years, from the 13th to the 17th century across Europe. And these old programs are in our systems. Just somebody puts a face in front of you or that's different, and people point the finger and start hating on them. And it's not the way we need to be moving forward in our world. We need more compassion, more understanding, more forgiveness. So think about who you're hanging out with. Do they lift you up? Do they drive you crazy with their negativity? Maybe it's time to stand up and speak the truth and make some boundaries about what you're allowing into your field, because it affects you. It drags your frequency down if you're around negative people. People that are into drama, people that are into gossip. It's not good for your soul to be around that. So have a think about the 5 people you spend most of your time with. Particularly your 5 friends, because your family is different to your friends. It's not so easy to walk away from your family and find new families. And a lot of the stuff that goes on in families is karmic, and we've chosen our parents and we've chosen those families for them to teach us certain things or to work through what we've done with them in previous lifetimes and things like that. But friends is different. And as we're evolving, as we're changing, as we're raising our frequency, if our friends are not on the same path than we are, we're going to end up moving away from them. I've done it myself, and it was heartbreaking to do. When I got involved with what I'm doing now in consciousness and raising my frequency and so on and so forth, I had to let go of friendships that were 25 years old. Good friendships. Not because they were bad people. I've always been very blessed with fantastic friends. But because I moved, or they're not on the path, and I needed to focus, and I started to meet new people who were part of the ascension of what's going on the planet and how we're raising our frequency and moving towards a more purification of ourselves. Because that's what ascension is about. It's not about changing the outside world by marching in the street. It does help. But just marching in the street isn't going to take away lies and manipulation from our leaders if we've got lies and manipulation in us. So that's what we need to work on, so that we're looking at other people through clear glass. We're seeing our own light in them. And anyone we're not seeing our own light in, we're not judging them, because we know that they're on their path. They may or may not be awake. They may not be actively healing and raising themselves up. But we understand that, so we don't judge them. And if there's nothing in us being projected and reflected back to us, we just feel calm about them. There is no trigger. There is no charge. There is no anger or annoyance or judgment or fear. There's a lot of talk about people being this, that, and the other, and bad, and it just makes me feel sad. that people are so quick to verbally and in writing attack people and call them horrible things that they don't even know the person. This is how manipulative media is. Social media, mainstream media, they can destroy people's reputations overnight because human beings are vulnerable enough to read it and believe it and not even question it. If you're looking at the person, how did they make you feel? If there's something there that makes you feel perturbed in any way, then own it and work on it. But when we point the finger, we're looking in a mirror at our own faults. And this is very difficult for people to understand and to believe as well, particularly if they're very focused into one area of maybe a religious group or something like that. And it's all about that. And I've mentioned things about religion before as there to separate people. There are 5,000 different Christian churches in America alone. Everyone believes theirs is right. So think about who you're hanging out with. Think about what people at work say about other people. Listen more. If they're bad-mouthing other people and saying that they're not, they're untrustworthy or, something like that, it says a lot about them. Gossip is one of the most vicious sins, for want of a better word, which means mistakes, that we can make. There are sayings like loose tongues cost lives and things like that. Because of things like Chinese whispers, somebody hears one story, they pass it on, they forget bits of it, but make those bits up and pass it on to someone else. And by the time it's got to the end of the line of Chinese whispers, it's a completely different story about somebody probably never even met that's getting passed around. And it's not wise and it's not kind. Sometimes we just need to let things go. We're not going to agree with everyone. We're not going to like everyone. That's part of being human. But we don't have to start bad-mouthing people and attacking them, particularly on social media. It shocks me how quickly people attack on there. So that's all I wanted to share tonight. Just to think about who's around you. Do they lift you up? Do they drag you down? If they're dragging you down, maybe it's time to move on, because the timelines are shifting and changing. And there's a lot of source energy coming into the planet at the moment. So this is a really big level up we're going through. And you can tell because the sun's brilliant white light in the sky. It's like just brilliant white light. It's not like a circle, a sun anymore. That's pure source energy. The Schumann resonance is off the scale at the moment. So it's a time for reflection. Are the right people in your life? Are the people in your life that are holding you back? Are they stopping you leveling up? Are they stopping you moving into a new career path, a new relationship, a new group of friends, a new project? If people aren't 100% behind you, supporting you, saying, yes, go for that, go for it, then it might be time to move away from some people. And don't feel that you have to be obliged to talk to people. This week, I've had 2 women get back in touch with me. One of them I haven't spoken to. I've spoken to once in the last year, and we're good friends. And when that phone rang, I was like, hey, how you doing? Like, we hadn't been apart from one another at all. There's no well, you haven't phoned me for a year, I haven't phoned you for a year. We just know one another's okay because we're connected. We're connected at the heart. We know one another's okay. We know one another's getting on with our lives, and when it's time for us to come back together, we do. I don't have friends that expect me to behave the way they want me to behave. I can go and be sociable, and then I can go and be very quiet for months. It's just the way I am. So think about your friends, think about the people around you. Are they supportive? Do they make you feel good? Are they helping you keep your heart open? Or are they dragging you down? Are they negative? Are they not supportive? Are they saying things like, you can't do that? And so on. Because if they are, it might be time for you to move on, let go, close that door behind you, a new door opens and new friends come in. People will say things all the time like, well, I'll do that when this happens. But sometimes you've got to shut the door on the past. You've got to move out of that, wait for something new to come. And it won't come until you've let go of the old and close that door. Because when you've done that, you're leveling up. And then you're going into the new bandwidth, into new space, new people coming into your life and things like that. So holding on to the past holds you back. Overanalyzing the past holds you back as well. This is something that I found a lot of people that are on the spiritual path or consciousness path, a lot of them get too involved in previous lives and how important they were in that life and where were they, and they can spend years focused on, let's say, Egypt, for example. Doesn't matter. We're not meant to be focusing on the past. If it comes through, oh yeah, you were in Egypt, you had a lifetime in Egypt, have a little look at it, let it go. We're meant to be present. We're meant to be in the moment. When we're in the past, looking at stuff from the past, or we're worrying about the future, we're not in the present. We're not in the now, in this moment. And when we're in the present, we're in that bliss energy. And that bliss energy is creating what's coming to us. Looking into the past is pulling energies from the past, and looking into the future, worrying about the future, is putting our energy into negative possible futures. So think about that. Think about where you're at, who you're with, who you're hanging out with. This is a great time for change. And sometimes change can be very difficult, especially if we need to let go of people and move on. And that could be friends, it could be family, it could be work, your job, anything at all. If you're thinking about moving on from a relationship, from a friendship, from your job, from anything at all, now is the time to be thinking about that seriously. But that new door can't open until you've closed the door behind you to the past. So I hope this has been useful, and please do share, like, subscribe if you're new to me. Check out my website, JanineRegan-Sinclair.com. There's lots of goodies on there, courses, audios, and I've got some offers on as well at the moment for the Black Friday deal, so 50% off if you get in touch with me on Instagram. And I will see you all again soon. Take care. Thanks for joining me. Bye for now.